me put the light on.
Good night.
Find amazing women, trailblazers in different industries, different communities, and we bring them forth and they tell their story to inspire so many of you to keep living your dreams and chasing them and living your best life. What's life about if you're not living the best of it, right? And today is no different. She is with us and we are so excited. We're also going to be telling you about the Rise and Thrive table that's happening next Friday. But before we even get to that, the keynote for that special morning is a woman who's done such amazing things. Nontetho Smith is with me in studio and she'll be the keynote on the day. She's a woman who has a background in milling. But before we even get to Utingo Mills, let's say good morning to the queen in question. Good morning, Nontetho, how are you?
Good morning, Carol, and good morning, East Coast Radio listeners.
Oh, it's so amazing to have you in studio. And I mean, your story is beautiful. And I know that you will go into more details around how you came about to co-found Utingo Mills, a proudly South African business that's dealing with maize and maize milling. But for those who haven't heard your story, without giving away too much, are you able to just walk us through how you ended up in this space as a co-founder?
Well, so growing up back in, there's a place called Ekuteni, which is in KZN by Nkandla. My great grandmother used to actually grind maize, and I think using like a stone, a manual grinding machine. Yes. Yeah. So in those days, I mean, there used to be a lot of people that used to come to collect the maize, and also on my mom's side, my other grandmother from Ozwatini, which is in Tonga to the side, she had, I mean, a land of about 1 hectare where she was growing maize. So I think one day I was just driving and I had an MEC talking about there's not a lot of women in agriculture, and because of my marketing background, I was more interested in agri-processing as to what can I do with the products that come from agriculture. Then I thought of maize because it's what I saw growing up.
Wow. It's crazy how we have so much invention and so much possibility around our ecosystem of life, our day-to-day, that if we just sat for a moment and looked at the opportunities, we could really climb out of circumstances.
Yeah.
That is insane. So on Friday next week, we have the Rise and Thrive breakfast, right?
Yeah.
Where we're going to have a whole lot of ladies coming through. It's going to be fantastic. You are the keynote on the morning. What message will you be driving on the morning?
Well, my story is of resilience, grace, and overcoming. So, I'm going to touch in all parts of my story. I mean, as women, I think we go through quite a lot of things. I've had such challenging stories that women go through. In my life, I overcame addiction and alcoholism. So I'm going to be touching on that, and with my encounter with God. Some women have experienced abandonment and other, terrible things. So I'll be touching on that, but not ending with that. I just want to encourage women to understand that we don't need to sit on our story of challenges. We need to actually dive into being vulnerable and healing, and then overcoming and being able to then move from when we're hurt and be able to live our lives and strive.
Yeah. No, I absolutely love that. Now, you've built something really amazing with the business that you've built. You've made an empire. You employ a lot of people. What has been, would you say, is one massive challenge that you faced on this journey?
There's quite a lot of challenges, but, I think one of the biggest challenges was really starting. So when I made an example with my grandmother, it wasn't, so she will need just a few piles of maize to be able to make, a super maize mill. Yeah. But when you're getting into business, you need millions and millions of money to start. I think the first order that I got, I needed, something over $1 million to start. So I think one of the biggest challenges was financial support. Yeah. And also getting into the market. As much as super maize meal is a staple product, it's highly demanded in South Africa. However, it's very competitive. There's quite a lot of other brands that are out there that are also established. So it was mostly financial support for marketing and to help the product to be out there. So to really start, I needed to get packaging that's worth more than 2 million. That's without the product itself. So there's more and more other things. So there was my first challenge. So when I was able to I actually got a contract with one of the, the biggest retailers that were interested in getting the product into the shop, but then I didn't have the bag. So I had to wait about a year to actually raise the funds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sure. I love the moment of wait for a year. For it to happen, because sometimes we expect things to happen in unison, one after the other, and sometimes the waiting helps in its own way.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to tackle all of this at the breakfast next Friday, which I'm looking forward to. It's happening. It'll be the 4th of July, and we'll be having a celebration of dynamic women changing the game across industries. And you have an opportunity to nominate a woman in your life who you think deserves a seat at this table. So send us a WhatsApp voice note about a woman who inspires you. Tell us her name, her story, and why she deserves a seat at the Rise and Thrive table next Friday, the 4th of July at Radisson Blu. The voice note to